Let's talk about the anatomy of the acoustic guitar. So here, let's actually learn the different pieces, their names, and what it is that they do. This part of the guitar is the body, the neck, and the head, or headstock. Now, working from the headstock down, these are called the tuners. And twisting them, of course, tightens or loosens the string so we can tune it. These are the tuning posts. This is a plate that underneath that, it's called the truss rod. And there's a steel rod that goes through the center of the neck. Your guitar luthier can adjust that to adjust the pitch of the neck, the bow of the neck. I don't suggest you messing with that unless you know what you're doing, unless you've watched some videos on that. I've done it before, especially as a kid. With all my guitars, I would do that, but I would implore you not to do that. Now, sometimes you can get to the truss rod from underneath here as well. It just depends on the guitar. Most all guitars have a truss rod, at least steel string guitars do, but most classical or nylon string guitars do not. Some do. Some folks are starting to put them in there. And what that does is it supports the neck. It gives it some extra strength because you're talking about a very long piece of wood here, and the amount of pressure that's being pulled here by these strings is plus 100 pounds. So literally, on an acoustic guitar, it's even more than that. So the pull of all these strings, when you tighten them, is pulling at about 100 plus pounds. So would make sense that we have to have a piece of steel in there to reinforce it so the neck doesn't snap or bend over time. This part right here where the strings are just starting to touch the neck again, this is called the nut. Sometimes it's plastic, sometimes it's bone. It can be many different materials. Going down further, of course, we have the strings here, right? 6 of them. And there are different string gauges that you can use, that you can experiment with. We won't touch on that, but obviously the strings. These vertical wires going across are called fret wires or frets. And when you press down a note, essentially what you're doing is you're pressing the string down and it's resting on that fret. So if I move my finger up, now, no matter where I'm putting my finger at in that fret, it's going to be the same sound, or at least the same pitch, because the actual point of contact is right there on the fret wire. You'll notice fret markers different on different guitars. So in this case here, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 12. But some guitars, they just start at the 3, 5, 7, and then 12, or 5, 7 and 12, or 5, 7, 9 and 12, or 3, 5, 7, 9, 12. It just depends on the guitar. It's literally just a place to navigate. If you could think about them as lines in the road, they just say stay in your lane. They don't denote a scale or any sort of music theory whatsoever. They're just a way to easily look down at the guitar and know where you're at. If they weren't there, it would be more difficult to know immediately, and you might land on the wrong fret. Also on the top, you can see that I have some fret markers right here in black. And that's just so as I'm looking at the guitar and I don't have the same angle that you do, I don't see these. I have to lean forward to see those. If I'm playing live or in the studio or whatever, I can literally see markers right here, and that helps me to navigate the neck. As we're moving up the neck, so even though I said, this was the body, this was the neck, and this is the head, a lot of people think that this is going up the neck. This is actually going down the neck because we're going down in pitch as opposed to up the neck. So this is considered up the neck because we're going up in pitch. The 12th fret marker is usually going to be denoted with like 2 dots or something special there. Sometimes a signature or something, and that just denotes the octave. More about that later. Usually on an acoustic guitar, you're going to find a button right here, or a strap button, a peg that you can actually put a strap over the back of your shoulders, and it's going to hold the guitar in place. I've had many guitars, and yours might be the same way, where you actually don't have a button there. You don't have a peg that you can put your guitar strap on. And in that case, I would implore you to have a guitar luthier install that, or somebody who knows a bit about wood and structure and that sort of thing. You don't want to just start drilling into your guitar or nailing or screwing something in. You can mess up your guitar if you do that. You may not, but there's a chance that you might mess up the guitar, and I'd hate for that to happen. Now, moving to the body of the guitar, we have here is a pick guard. Should be called a guitar guard, since the pick is hitting the guitar, but it's actually guarding the guitar. But really, this is more decorative than anything else. If your pick hits the guitar, that's fine. But you know, the difference between having a hard piece of plastic here as opposed to softer wood is the guitar may get scarred up. So it's not going to necessarily hurt the guitar, but it might look not so becoming after a while. I had a guitar that did not have a pick guard there, and I wore a hole in the guitar. Literally, there was a hole right here because I had played it so much, and eventually I just, played the wood off of the guitar. If you have ever seen Willie Nelson's guitar, he has that same hole right there because he's played it so much that he wore the guitar out. This is the sound hole, and in this case, on my guitar, I have a pickup that's inside here. Usually, pickups are laying across inside the guitar, and you will actually see it, or they have a piezo pickup which is in the bridge. And a pickup just allows the vibration of the guitar to be turned into voltage, which then you can amplify through some sort of PA or amplification system. So the sound hole is where, when you pick the guitar, the sound, of course, resonates out, but it's also resonating into the chamber of the guitar, which is creating volume. That's why when you play an electric guitar, you don't get the same type of volume acoustically from that instrument. So when we're talking about an acoustic instrument, we're talking one that can play by itself. So that's what's happening inside the sound hole there. We won't go into the bracing and everything else. We're just the basics here right now. So moving further on, we have the bridge. And these pegs where the string actually goes in and it's holding that string in place. Now you'll find different types of bridges, but with an acoustic guitar, it's usually a fixed bridge, or we'll call a stop tail. And it's where the strings are going to be secured on this side so that they can be taut so that you can tune them. If not, they would, of course, be flapping around. So it needs to have some sort of security there. In this case here, you're looking at just more of an ornamental type of bridge. Your bridge probably doesn't look like that. It's more of just an ornament than anything else. These are called the sides of the guitar, right? So the part that you're looking at, if you're actually playing, this is the sides of the guitar. And of course the back that you can't see right now that I'm tapping on, and then the front or the belly of the guitar. Now I also have another strap holder right here, or peg, on this side. Now the reason that I want you to know this is if I say to you adjust the nut, or that if you have a string that's being caught up here in the nut, then you'll know how to navigate this. Or if I say turn the 6th string post, or I'm referring to some other part of the guitar, now that you have that knowledge, we can talk the same language. All right, let's keep going.